It's just an extension on yesterday's stuff, okay? I'm just adding some more information to it. That's why math, you can't just put off a day because the next day you're going to be lost. So it's really important to do everything I say to do the day you're supposed to do it. You can't put it off like socials and I'll just start my project in 3 days. It doesn't work like that, right? Because we keep building on it, building on it. Make sense? Same speech I gave in grade 8, if you had me. Grade 9, if you had me. Grade 10, keep saying it every year. Okay. Conjecture. Yesterday we did stuff. Does this word have meaning to you?
Yes.
Yes, no, probably not. That's fine. The book likes to use it a lot. What does the book say for a conjecture? I'm not going to write it down, I'm just going to say it. A testable expression that is based on available evidence but is not yet proven. Oh, okay, I get it now. It's kind of a complicated sentence, isn't it? Can anyone summarize what I just said? It is. That is the summary of what I just said. It's a guess. Okay? One of you guys shows up to this class once a week, and when you're here once a week, you do nothing. What's a conjecture about your final report card mark? F. That would be a pretty good guess. Yeah, okay? So we kind of understand what the conjecture is? It's a guess. So, let's draw a picture. Yes, we're going to draw a pair of jeans. Does that look familiar? Are those parallel lines, Dan? Better answer. We're not sure yet. That's angle A. And I know, again, in the book, they have it like this, right? BAF. That's angle A, or it's angle BAF, or it's angle FAB. Okay? The book does that. Does everyone know that? Hopefully you do, because you did yesterday's stuff, right? So there's AC, B, D. Something else yesterday that I didn't say in my 5 minutes of review. Interior angles. Name me some. BAF. Good question. Let's make that an E. Because in my picture I didn't have those ones, but that's fine. Okay, fine. Leave that one B, and then let's make this one. Let's make, oh, I don't know, Q. No, wait, that's fine. The important ones are A, C, D, and Q. Okay, interior angles. Which ones are on the insides of the train tracks? A, otherwise called BAF. F, otherwise called, well, I don't have a letter over here and it's too cluttered already, so I'm not going to put one. F, and Q also is, right? So C, Q, whatever letter might be down here. Okay? Exterior is C and D. Sorry? B is just this point here. It's neither on the inside or the outside. It's just the point on the end of that line. Okay? So it's not an angle. I asked you for angles. B is not an angle, right? Okay, so can we make a conjecture about, let's put this in capital, new term, alternate interior angles? So we know there's 3 interior angles there. There's 3 angles on the insides of my train tracks. Do you know what this word alternate means? You don't like it when you play hockey. That means you're a bench warmer, right? In math, it means something else. This is called the transversal, this line that cuts these two. You can have A and F are on the same side of the transversal, right? Like A's on the left-hand side, F's on the left-hand side. But if you have one on the left side and one on the right side, that's what we would call alternate. Yeah. So can we make a guess about 2 of these letters that are alternate interior angles? Give me the 2 letters. I just told you. A and Q, right? Those are both interior, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, again, the wordage isn't that much important. It's the picture. Picture's worth 1,000 words. If I say, name me 2 letters that are alternate interior, okay, I hope you can come up with A and Q. And if you can't, well, there's going to be some marks you're not going to get in the test. A and Q are alternate interior angles. Okay? What else do we know about the relationship between A and Q? I don't know if I want to say this next or do, yeah, I guess I will. Anything? Give me a guess of what you think A kind of looks like in degrees. Is it bigger than 90?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a decent estimate for angle A?
120.
You like 120? Okay. Everyone going to disagree with that? 118? No. 117.5? Okay. It's all right. Okay. I like 120. 110 I'd go with. 125 I'd go with. Does angle Q also look like about that? Okay. Do you remember in Math 10, because you've all taken it, angle of elevation from the horizontal up is called angle of elevation. Do you remember angle of depression? From the horizontal down is angle of depression. And you remember problems where you needed to know those were the same angle? Yeah. And does it look like it? If these are parallel, we have learned in Math 10, so I'm just going to say it, this angle is the same as that one. Is there a conjecture between angle A and angle Q? Do you see how those are kind of like the same? Now these are acute angles, but on the other side, here's obtuse ones like A and Q, okay? So these angles are the same for the same reason. Kind of looks like a cow udder. So let's look at that acute one again. This one is the same as that one. If you know it, great. And if you don't, well, I'm telling you, it is. Okay, the angle of elevation here is equal to the angle of depression there. Is that like the same as this and this? Yeah. Okay. So these 2 angles are the same, and also, well, just because that one's bigger than 90 doesn't mean it's not the same as that. And if we knew that this was 45, let's make it something easier. If I knew that was 40 degrees, what would this angle be? Supplemental. And if that's 40, this is 40. And if that's 40, then this one here must be, well, yeah, so there we go. We just proved it. They're the same. Okay? So A and Q. If the lines are parallel, then we also know A and Q are equal. Or, let's use our new wordage. Alternate interior angles, and I'll move it up in a sec, are equal. Okay? So there's some more relationship type stuff I'm teaching yous. Okay? Alternate interior angles, that's what that's supposed to say? Okay? So, if I put that there, now you know they're parallel, and you know angle A is equal to angle Q. Conjecture. Did we also learn what, like, D and C were called? What kind of angles are those? Exterior. Let's put this new word in here. C and D are, what's your conjecture? But using our wordage here, sure, they're the same, good guess, but how do I write this as a form of a rule? C and D are exterior, actually use the word alternate first. They're alternate exterior angles, okay? And guess what we can say if these lines are parallel? They're equal. So, some more terminology. Oh, alternate first. They're exterior of my train tracks, and they're alternate because they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Can't fit it, so I got to write it under there. And of course, they're angles. Okay? So another kind of word we need to be familiar with, or 3 words. Okay? One more thing about this picture. What do we know about C and Q from yesterday? Yes, I've told you now these are parallel, therefore this is corresponding with Q, those are equal. But what did we just look at here? Alternate exterior angle, let's actually write that. So, not with that pen. C equals D. So yesterday we found out C equals Q. Okay, but now I know C equals D. So what would be a conjecture between D and Q? This is logic. Call it math if you want, but it's logic. If C equals Q and C equals D, then D must equal Q, right? Does that make sense? Like, what else could happen? That's my only choice. If these are equal and these are equal, that's the same thing. So D must be equal to Q. Okay? There's something else we know. So for example, let's say Dan was right, pulled out his protractor, and that was exactly 120 degrees. Yesterday, we played around with finding what is Q, given that these are parallel. Well, piece of cake. Those are corresponding, they're parallel, so that's 120. Now today, I told you, because these are parallel, that this guy is equal to that guy. So you can go and look, that's 120 as well. But what do we notice here? There's a relationship. I haven't given you the word yet. What do you think about A and C? Yeah. And also, now that you know D's 120, is A corresponding with D? Yeah, so yesterday's rule would have told you that's 120. But now we're looking at this relationship. You can just go, well, if that's 120, that's 120. Okay? Let's look at one more thing. If this is 120, I don't have a letter here, but what's this angle? This we did yesterday. 60. And if this is 120, what's this angle? That's 180 degrees, so that's got to be 180 minus 120. That's 60. Are these equal? Okay. So let's make a picture that's a little less cluttered. A, B, C, D. Conjecture about B and D. What do we now know? Those are equal. Always, always, always. What do we know about A and C? They're equal. Okay, what's the wording? A and C are vertically opposite. I don't know why they use the word vertically when it's horizontal. That's just what the book does. I'm not too concerned, actually, about the word vertically. Opposite works. Okay? But you just got to know if it's a multiple choice question and it says the word vertically opposite, tell me the relationship between A and C. Here's a typical question on your test. Multiple choice. A and C are A, transversal. B, corresponding. C, exterior alternate angles or alternate exterior angles. Or D, vertically opposite. You're going to want to pick D. Okay? But opposite works. That word's still there. Okay? Is that enough to digest today? One example. If I can get enough space here. This is what questions in your book are going to look like. And this is what questions on your quiz are going to look like. Therefore, on your test too. Now let's just throw in one more transversal, just to make it a little more challenging. And which one is the transversal? Are these the tracks and that's a transversal? Okay, sure. Or are these the tracks and that's a transversal? That's right, it doesn't matter. Both is correct. Just turn your page 90 degrees. Okay, they're both correct. Now, let's put some letters in here. That's B. That's A. That's 110 degrees. What? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the more there is, the more clutter there will be. The more choices you have. Sure, it's going to get more confusing, right? Okay. F. And where do I want G? How about here? Does that look like about 110 degrees? Good enough, right? Here's the question. Solve. You remember getting in trigonometry in grade 10, first we started with the side, and then we started with an angle, then we did a side and an angle, and then I said, solve. There's 3 sides and 3 angles. We want all 6 pieces of the triangle. And one of them's got to be a right angle, so now you're down to 5. We've got to give you 2 pieces of information in order to solve it. So there's only 3 things to find. Okay? Here there might be more than 3, but solve means every letter, we want to know what it is. Okay? So again, where do you start? I probably can't get G by looking at this. First of all, are these parallel? Now you know they are. And if they weren't, you know what? You wouldn't be able to solve for anything. These are also parallel. Okay? So can I get G? I could, actually, but maybe you want to start with somewhere else first. There may be more than one way to solve this problem. There may be only one way to start with. I could get G, actually, but it would be like 2 moves of chess. I can get something in 1 move. What letter would that be? A. Good. Because this is corresponding to that. Because these are parallel, I know A is... Yes. Well, hang on. Just don't get ahead of me. Just relax, okay? Let someone else have some fun for a change. Now that you know A is 110, what is B? Yeah, because that's what I just taught you. Anytime you get this, these are the same. These are the same. Opposite angles are the same. So B is also 110. Now what do I do? Where do I go? And again, half of you may want to go and your mind looks like this and you want to get that one. That's fine. And the other half may want to go and get this one. That's fine. Doesn't matter. As long as you get them all before we're done.
Gotta catch them all.
Could someone see? Yeah, that's right. Lots of fish in the water. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
Who would want to get F next? What would we do?
70.
What would we do?
The supplemental angle.
Supplemental. What are you looking at here? You're looking at, I know what she's thinking. I know this angle here is the same as F. How do I find this angle here? This is a supplemental. That's 180 degrees. So this here is 180 minus 110, which is 70. And then F is, well, it's corresponding. Okay, that's fine. Who didn't look there and instead looked here? Is that also supplemental? Do we get the same thing, 70 degrees? Yeah, that's another way to do it. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. There's like 3 other ways to get F. If this is 110, where's an alternate exterior angle to B? Exterior, alternate, that's also 110. Therefore, supplemental, this is 70. There's another way. Okay? Now that you have, go back, there you go. Now that you have that, we know what G is, do we, or do we not? Is it 110 or 70? Okay, why? What's the reason? Explain. What's the relationship between F and G? Say it again. Alternate interior angles, if these lines are parallel, are the same. Yes. Now, just for fun, I didn't do any of that. How do I get from here directly to G? What's this angle here? Yeah. Well, is that corresponding with this one? Sure. So you could have done it like that. That's just as valid. Okay, lots of ways to get this stuff, okay? So we saw this was 70. I got one more thing to add. Do you see a relationship between A and F? A conjecture. Let's use that word for the, I don't know, 6th time today. What does A and F add up to? What do we call that? Are they supplemental? Yes, they are. If these are parallel, how do I word this? They're on the same side of the transversal. and their interior. That's how I word it. Okay? That may also be a little trick to help you. Maybe not, but maybe you can use it. Okay? So A and F are interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Now, sorry, there's no other way to word this. Okay? If the lines are parallel, these are also supplemental. We didn't need that to solve this, though, did we? We did it without knowing that. But maybe it'll save you a second and a half. Okay? Just another relationship. Okay? But it always works. If the lines are parallel, interior angles on the same side of the transversal are always supplemental. So, Z. Tell me what Z is, Hunter. Yeah, but you didn't look here, did you? No, because you knew that was 70. This is interior on the same side of the transversal, so these are supplemental. That's 110. Okay? All right, is that enough today? This is what your quiz on Monday is going to consist of. Tomorrow, we're just going to practice more of the same. Okay? Nothing new really tomorrow. 1 to 4, 6, 8, and 14, and 15.